You are a laborious mosaic of human beings and passions and energies and intelligence. Jamaica Kincaid is one of my favorite writers. And Jamaica Kincaid said, "I'm not interested in the pursuit of happiness. I'm interested in pursuing a truth, and truth often seems to not be happiness, but its opposite." Now, I'm like her. I want to know the truth. The deep, dark, truthful mirror. I want to know it about myself, and I want to know it about the world around me. And the Talmud says, you don't see things as they are, you see things as you are. So my question is, how are we? How am I? How are we in the world? We're hungry. The world is really, really hungry. And the world is really, really poor. And the world is often very sick. Now that's a reality that I don't want to have to accept that reality. And yet, I have to accept it before I can change anything. Now in that opening Serenity prayer it said, courage to change the things I can. Well, I know one thing I can't change my genetics. How many of us would like to change their genetics? How many people in Hollywood have tried to change their genetics? I was going to say something, I'm not going to say it. So if I have to accept things I cannot change, I have to accept the fact that 10 million people die each year and a half from malnutrition and starvation, that 3,900 children die each day to the lack of clean water, and that 60,000 newborns die of maternal and neonatal tetanus. Now this is unacceptable. The miracle of the Eliminate Project is that you can change the course of human life. You have already shown it. And that is why it's so exciting to me. The rest of that is unacceptable but unattainable for me. But the idea that we're here today and we have heard for the last few days how we can in fact change something. Dr. Gass said, we can change this. We can eradicate this. We can eliminate this. Now that, if any of us do that, if we participate and connect the dots as a group of people and a group of people around the world and actually eliminate that, that is an extraordinary moment for all of us. And that we can all die knowing we did something. We did something. Because the Irish proverb says, nodding your head does not row the boat. Now, how many people have gone to a dinner party and people talk about the problems, and you sit at the dinner table like this? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I agree. But who does anything? You do! I sit around Los Angeles all day long, they don't do anything. They complain. And look at what you're doing. You're rowing the boat for all of these children and their mothers around the world. So, it's extraordinary. Now, courage to change the things I can. What can I change? Well, I can recognize that the headwater of all of the problems that I could look at in my life, the headwater is survival. We can talk about education, we can talk about drug addiction, and I would like to take a moment and honor Betty Ford, who died today. I would like to honor the commitment that that woman gave to drugs and alcohol addiction. Now, as I said to you, I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I have been for 13 years. Now, Betty Ford made that possible. Because she was the first lady of the United States, and she stood up and said, my name is Betty Ford, and I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. And she created a center, a place of safety and refuge for people like me, and I'm guessing like a few of you out there. And Betty Ford made it safe by her public persona and her ability to talk about her mastectomies when she had breast cancer, and her addiction and substance abuse problems, and the fact that she created that center, which then grew how many centers around the world? Betty Ford, her life meant something, and I wanted to honor her today. God bless Betty Ford and her today. Education problems. We were having lunch earlier. Talking about the state of education. We can talk about drug addiction. We can talk about gang violence, inner city, environmental causes. We can talk about all of that, but you don't get any of that unless you're surviving as a human being. And that's what you're working on. You're the headwaters of all of this, because what you're working on is the very nature of human survival. And that, to me, is incredibly moving. That you're peeling back one layer at a time. At the center, at the nucleus, is survival. And it's incredibly important. And you, when we're talking about change the things I can, you're making, as you heard today with Dr. Gass, global change. Global change is occurring because human beings are working together to eradicate tetanus. It's extraordinary. And I hope you understand. Oh, you, of course, you understand it. Especially that person in the back. So, accept the things I cannot change. Gandhi, my personal favorite, said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be it. Now, that doesn't mean buy it. It means be it. It means live it every moment. Make it part of your daily bread. Who you are as a person. Jung said only that which changes remains true. So change is important, but being the change, affecting the change, individually and collectively as a group, connecting that dot, is also important. Now, America is far away from Geneva, and certainly far away from southern Sudan, and there are problems globally that are a lot bigger than some of the problems in America, and yet one of my favorite writers is John Steinbeck, and this is what he wrote, and it's really about working together, one person meeting another, in Grapes of Wrath. One man, one family, driven from the land, this rusty car creaking along the highway to the west. I lost my land. A single tractor took my land. I am alone, and I am bewildered. And in the night, one family camps in a ditch, and another family pulls in, and the tents come out. The two men squat on their hams, and the women and children listen. Here is the node, you who hate change and fear revolution. Keep these two squatting men apart. Make them hate, fear, and suspect each other. Here is the anlage of the thing you fear. This is the zygote. For here, I lost my land is changed. A cell is split, and from its splitting grows the thing you hate. We lost our land. The danger is here. The two men are not as lonely and perplexed as one. And from this first we, there grows a still more dangerous thing. I have a little food, plus I have none. If from this problem the sum is we have a little food, the thing is on its way, the movement has direction, only a little multiplication now, and this land, this tractor, are ours. The two men squatting in a ditch, the little fire, the side meat stewing in a single pot, the silent, stone-eyed women, behind the children listening with their souls to words they do not understand.